Hello everyone, I am Giant Security for the dashboard station. We have our deaf athlete Adelia, Naomi, and we also have an interpreter. Her name is Bunny. Okay, let us talk about yeah. How much do you know about that? Can you see the difference between the small t and big T? What is small t? Small t is when a person give you a instruction and you can't hear what the instruction is about, and then other person say, hey, are you deaf or what? Considered as small t. And big t is more of identity to be a part of that community. What are the deaf characters? Deaf character hard of theory is mild to profound degree of theory loss. It's a different level of theory loss. And theory bad is the medical constitution prescribed by doctor. So I consider myself as a hard of theory. So to not ever label any deaf person as deaf or dumb or deaf and moon. It's very offensive for deaf community. What are the lifestyle for the deaf and hard of hearing? There are 5 things. First thing, full access to information. Every deaf has a right to know what is going on around us. And second thing, to communicate with anyone who knows sign language, to write down, and any way to relay your message to a deaf person. And the third one, to show your body language and texture, and simple like eat, see water, sleep, simple texture, and then that language is very beautiful language because that language is can communicate with the deaf person is noisy place, happy anywhere. And then lastly is that language is very useful. What are the don't and do when you communicate with the deaf? First, do not open your mouth too big. Like example say, how are you? How are you? You look good. You just say, how are you? You will be very better for every deaf person to live with you. And then this one, do not expect that to live with you fully. For example, say, I love you, helpful. You think the live with is similar. Helpful, I love you is same. So you don't expect any deaf to understand you fully. And then next one, do not demoralize by your sign language. For example, you only know how to spell A, B, C. Just continue to practice sign language, and then the deaf is very happy to teach you more. And then do not whisper the deaf ear. It's very offensive to deaf people. And then do not talk too loud. Do not hurt your soft voice. And then lastly is do not bang the table or to bang the door very hard. We do not like it. And then you can tap on the deaf button to call the button. And then approach the deaf button more often, and then you can know the deaf person better, and the deaf person know you better too. How to communicate with you also. And then lastly, be patient. Do not give up when you communicate with the deaf person. What are the I will put you can do the difference hearing person and deaf person. Mostly you can do like for example clapping for hearing is clap, right? And for deaf people you will say clap. And then for the theory, the thought is a dark place. But for the test, you need a light. You can see my face, you can see my hand, time limit. And then lastly, you can hold the limb. The theory hold the limb like hold buddy. Or for test will hold buddy. You can see the difference. Yeah. And then lastly, I want to share about dashboard attention. This is the objective. We have 4 objectives. First is we are only national body for the dashboard in Singapore. And we also encourage local and international game participants and provide technical advice on the dashboard. And also encourage more dashboardmen to play sport. What is available for the dashboard? That must be with the 1 year must be more than 55 dB. Let me explain to you more about the test. The next slide. You see at the top of the theory test, you see a yellow box. Here are 3 points: 5,000, 1,000, and 2,000. So you will get a village dB, and you can see above 55 dB will be considered as deaf and hard of hearing. And below will be considered as a hearing person. What our major game in 4-year cycle? There are Asia Deaf Game and Asia Pacific Deaf Game and Deaf in Rapid Game. First thing you see Asia, you can check Facebook or website for the more update. It's the smallest event in your overseas. And then this one will be the Asia Pacific Deaf Game. Asia Pacific is bigger than Asia Game. And we have 1,500 athletes and officers. So you can see the top of flag there. Yes, this is the event happened in 2015 in Taiwan. How yes. TOUAN. Yeah. And this one, Deaf in Rapid, is the biggest event for all deaf events in overseas. We have over 5,000 athletes and officers. Yeah, that is how we start from the GSA. GSA will organize the local game and then encourage all the deaf people to join and try the game. And you can spot, you can pick the best and potential sportsmen to train them for the major overseas game. Yeah. After that, we will tell them to adjust to get experience how the overseas deaf game look like. And then, of course, we push them to pick their personal record. Once you pick, you can send them to the Asia Pacific deaf game. After that, we can send them to the Deaf Rapid. So you can see the timeline. For the Asia game, it is held every 2 years. And for the Asia Pacific and Deaf Rapid is every 4 years. Yeah, we have our own deaf athlete from Singapore win gold and bronze medal. Later, Adelia Naomi will share with you her life. So now let me share about the rule for the game. Rule of the game is like, for example, running and swimming and football. How to be inclusive for the deaf? First thing you see the money, you will put your leg on the T5, you will feel the vibration when you touch. You can see also the light, red, yellow, green. Red, stop. Yellow, ready, and green, and let's go. Timing is very important for all sportsmen, so deaf should not be left out. Yes. So not even be late by milliseconds or so. Also, when at sport event, deaf will take out the hearing aid and cognitive plan to obey the game rules. So you have to be very inclusive for them to meet their needs. So for Jimmy, we'll use the light also. Red, yellow, green, also same thing as the money. And then last is football. Football, we'll use the flag. Referee also will texture. You will continue to play, and then you will wave the flag. Stop. You want texture. You will teach the referee before the game. Yeah. And then now we have our own national dance game. You make sure every dance and heart of Jerry to participate. I want to make the program more friendly, that's very important. And then for adaptability, Jimmy, you use our own light, red, yellow, green also same thing. And then we have a table tennis. Table tennis also use the door box. Door box to decrease the number of points. And then next one is badminton. Badminton also use the toy balls, but we have a volunteer who will say in, out. You see whether your shuttlecock is in or out. So next one is bowling. Bowling is you use the flag when you touch, then so that everybody has touch at the same time. And then last is the footer. Footer with referee will capture, will say continue to play, and then they stop, and then many red heart also, yellow heart is very important. Yeah. So the next one we have also have a footer female team. Yeah. And then next one, Botak. Botak also use the flag. And then you can follow us on the Facebook and you can visit our website for more information. Then now I'll pass my time to Naomi to share her experience with you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Adelia Naomi Yokoyama, and I'm a Deaflympic gold medalist in 2017 and a UBS Promise Award in 2019. So when I was born with profound hearing loss. So when I was born, my mom has told me that I have not passed the hearing test. So that's when the doctor has actually recommended that I have to go through a hearing test again, and which I failed again as well. So I've actually got a cochlear implant when I was 26 years old for my right ear, and my left ear will be when I was 11 years old. So as you can see, the picture is when I did my surgery. Yeah, and I was resting. Yeah. So my journey, after I did my cochlear implant surgery, I had to go through a mapping process, seeing a speech therapist and an audiologist. So actually, mapping is not very easy because like for cochlear implant, it's different for every individuals. So you have to go through like different kind of sound, like loud sound, soft sounds that you have to go through to see whether how much you can hear and what like the speech and or in the sounds that you make. And seeing a speech therapist is when you actually learn how to speak, learn how to hear. So you actually like sing some songs, play some music. So because of the hearing that I've had to go through, I actually did ballet when I was young so that I can learn how to listen to music and listen to the tempo to see whether I can actually follow the music. Yeah. And also because that from the bottom left, there's a bit of like a photo and a bit of wording in which that my mom made me practice to say how to say some words as well, so that I can actually keep practicing at home instead of like just following through the speech therapies. So my school journey, I was in Canossian school for the hearing impaired. So I was only there for like maybe about a year. But then my mom realized that it might not be a good environment for me because I'm not very exposed to the hearing community. So that's when I actually transferred out to a Bethesda Katong kindergarten, which is a mainstream school for me. So she realized that it could be a better environment in a sense that I'll be more exposed and able to see more and hear more things. Because compared to a Canossian school, I could only hear a certain sounds or like certain speech, certain words, which could be very difficult for me to actually catch up with a normal hearing world. Yeah. And then so I was in a CHRJ Katong Convent in primary and secondary school, and then I went through PSB Academy for my diploma and went through Edinburgh Napier University. So I actually joined bowling in primary school for CCA. So that was when I was in primary 3. And then I felt like bowling was an interesting sport because it's not just about hitting how many pins or like getting just the ball and like, play on the lanes. But actually it's very interesting in a sense you get to know about the oiling pattern or about what kind of equipments you can use. And in like you get to know more in depth about bowling. So it's actually a lot of mental and vertical strategies as well. So I actually joined Deaf Sport Association when in 2016. That's when I actually get more exposed to the deaf culture. Because when I was growing up, I did not know anything about the deaf. So that's when I actually learned more about the deaf when I joined the team. So when I joined the team, I was not very familiar with sign language. So I felt a bit quite scared to actually join the team because of the communication barrier. So in Deaf Olympics 2017 was my first time representing Singapore and also traveling with my teammates. So I was afraid that like I might not get along with them because I was like, how do I sign? How do I communicate with them? How are we going to build our teamwork or getting to know more about them? But then actually, it felt like I've actually gotten closer to them because I get to learn more about the deaf culture and as well as knowing more about them and learning how to actually build teamwork. But my teammates were very helpful and very welcoming because they actually understand that like it's okay. We can always teach you sign language and all that, so it's actually fine. So I felt very welcome actually. So I had a very good impression and like exposure in deaf culture. Yeah. And because I've actually competed mostly in hearing competitions, and now that I've competed in deaf competition as well. So the environment and atmosphere was very different in a sense that in the deaf culture is very more friendly compared to the hearing. Yeah. So in Deaf Olympics, I was actually very surprised how everyone was getting along and like, actually supporting other countries as well. So I was like, oh, it's actually interesting. Like they don't really have to see, oh, Russia is doing well, Korea is doing well. But I have seen Russia supporting Korea as well, or like they're actually very friendly compared to like my experience in the hearing competition, which is very interesting. Yeah. So my achievement was I won a gold medal in the Deaf Olympics Girls Masters event. I have to say it was a very interesting experience because like it was my first major competition, especially as a deaf athlete. So it was my first time actually competing without my cochlear implant. So that means that when I compete, I have to take it out. So I'm not very used to it because I've been competing with my hearing devices. So it's a very interesting experience. And it also taught me that it doesn't really matter about your experience or how many years you've bowled, how much you understand, but I think it's about your mental strategy as well. So because I was competing with a Korean lady, which I heard that she was the best bowler, but then like I didn't let it affect me because like I was just focused on like onto myself and like the thinking process of how am I gonna find a line, whether I can stay calm, that kind of thing. So it actually proved me in a sense that it doesn't matter how much you have competed or how much your experience is. So I also want to share that in a sense that no matter where you are, who you are, or in any workplace or your competition in any environment, it's about focusing on yourself. Because this way, when you focus on yourself, you can actually know that or what you can actually do. It actually proves that you can actually be better than who you think and what you think. So the second picture on the middle is Go Chok Tong in the Bowls Award, in which I've won in 2019. So it's a very good event in a sense where they actually recognize people with disabilities. It shows that like it doesn't mean that if you're disabled means you cannot do anything. You can have actually like it's just about the pathways and how you actually overcome obstacles and you can do many things. Yeah. So I feel like it's very meaningful for everyone because like no matter if you're deaf or hearing, visual disabilities and as well, or special needs, it doesn't really matter because it's about how you actually can also contribute to the community or help one another. So actually it's very meaningful and very helpful for all of us to actually persevere and be better. So I actually went through a deaf youth sports camp where I get to know more about deaf culture. Yeah. So it's actually very interesting because I get to know more about the deaf because I was only more like connected to the team, but I can actually know more about the deaf from other areas, like students or working adults, that kind of thing. So that's when I actually get to open my mind more and see how the deaf culture thinks and all that. So the struggles was that when I was in the school, I felt like, oh, what if I cannot catch up with my team, my schoolmates and my classmates? So like I felt like, okay, what if I cannot hear certain things? What if the environment is too noisy for me to understand my teachers, my friends, that kind of thing? So I felt like I could be left out or left behind. So I always worry about not being able to catch up with my schoolmates. And also because when going out with friends or having a meeting, I've always worried about like, okay, but what if I actually don't understand? Sometimes I actually do get nervous in a sense of like asking questions because I feel like, what if they think I'm not listening? You know? Because like I'm actually trying to listen, but sometimes it can be very difficult to catch up. So this kind of struggles is where I have to worry about other people. But sometimes I actually try to like be daring, like make sure that okay, I can ask, doesn't matter, because I mean everyone's different, so sometimes you have to take time to actually understand and be more inclusive. So inclusion is about being connected, empowered, accessibility, and being included. So I felt that the deaf culture doesn't really mix around hearing community because of communication barrier. So like what Jai has mentioned earlier about it's okay to learn ABC because it's easier to actually connect with other people. So I felt that maybe like through sports it will be could be possible in a sense that where everyone can be connected. So maybe through National Deaf Games, we could include invite more hearing community to join us so that they can know more about our culture. So maybe we will actually like plan to open up to more public so that they are, in case they are very interested in about our deaf culture, it can be also through sports. Or maybe we can have events where public can join us as well. So I think it's very good that everyone can be included in a sense that because anyway there'll be interpreters that could be joining us so that we can actually do a translation kind of thing. Yeah. So does anyone have any questions? If you have any questions, you can send up to the question box, and also you can put a poll to send us feedback.
Later.
Correct. Yeah.
Do feel free to ask questions. Don't worry.
Don't be so shy. Just ask us about the deaf, maybe anything, maybe about deaf sport, you know.
Or maybe if you have like any recommendations or any kind of ideas that you can give us, it's also a very good thing for us. Yeah.
Maybe while waiting for you to ask questions, I think I want to ask her a question.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
how much does the DSA help you to grow?
DSA has been very welcoming in a sense that they knew that I'm not very familiar with sign language. So they actually took a lot of effort and time to teach me a few sign language. And they also can understand that at that time I was still schooling. They are very open-minded in a sense that I can just join after that and all that. So they actually provide us a lot of training sessions, gym sessions, so that we can be a better bowler. So they have been very supportive and letting us actually for Deaf Olympics we were able to actually stay in a longer period of time because they let us stay there to train more and also be more experienced.
That's good. Thank you. I hope to have more deaf athletes like her. Yeah. So the more the better, right?
Yeah, I think it's more the more is better because now we are actually trying to look for more deaf athletes to join our DSC so that we can actually know more about them and everyone and they can also know more about us. So I think it's a very good exposure for everyone, including myself. Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
I'll let you know. Still no question. I'm so sad.
That's so sad.
Yeah, we're very happy to answer your question.
Yeah, we are very open in case you have any questions about deaf or about my experience or maybe about with the hearing community as well. Maybe we could probably answer that.
Yeah, especially the hearing community. For hearing community, usually will help to volunteer for deaf community, for example, having a volunteer interpreter for the coach, and then have play together also. Yeah, not just to interpret all the way in the training, very boring. So he will play together, and then
Yeah, because like when I was in overseas, I see a lot of interpreters with the coaches, with the athletes. So I felt that it was very interesting, because like even interpreters from all over the world, they still interact with everyone,
very close,
including
right?
including other countries as well.
Yeah, I also thought.
Yeah, I see how very bonded they are.
Yeah, it's very supportive. Like for example, the interpreter not just stand there,
Yeah.
When you still go to start competition, right, will encourage you.
Yeah, they will encourage.
Wow, the atmosphere is very positive.
Yeah, it's very positive.
Yeah.
I mean, like in DSA, we have not everyone's actually deaf, right?
Yeah.
So it's actually very good that to see a hearing community trying to help out and help the deaf community as well. So maybe it's good to actually close the bridge in terms of communication barrier, then see how bonded we are.
Yeah. Sure. You want to ask? Wait for a while.
Okay, since we will probably end our session here, so please send in the poll, the feedbacks to our live conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.